Namaskar, hello and a very warm welcome to this 5-day, 5-hour online live interactive series on promoting healthy lives, preventing deficiencies, diseases and developmental delays. I'm Tanvi Khurana and this is an important series which started on 17th of August, that was the first day, and today we are entering into the 5th day of this series, which is 21st of August. So this was a 5-day series. Every day we discussed a topic which was beneficial to all the parents, to all the children, to all the teachers as well. On day 1 we discussed understanding child growth, development, deficiencies, diseases and also developmental delays. So we touched upon each and every topic and in a brief manner all the experts discussed these things. But in the later days, on day 2, on day 3, on day 4, we discussed these things in detail. On the day 2, we discussed nutritional deficiencies, prevention and healthy growth. On day 3, we discussed developmental delays from early identification to timely intervention. And on the 4th day, that was yesterday, we discussed communicable and non-communicable diseases, prevention and healthy lifestyles. Now that we are into the 5th day, you can see the topic on your screens. We are going to talk about safety and health, equitable and inclusive schools. This series is important, this topic is important because every child deserves a school which is safe for them, where they have the freedom to talk about anything, where they have the freedom to ask questions and they don't have to worry about anything. The environment is fine for them, the atmosphere, their teachers, the children, everything is suitable for them so that they can grow and in a wonderful environment, and because they are the future of India, we cannot take any risks with them. So this topic includes the safety, health, inclusivity, everything. And if you have questions, if you have queries, reach out to us. You can either call us on our number, which is 8800440559, or you can email us. The email ID is dai.ie@ciet.nic.in. At this moment, you're watching us on our 2 YouTube handles. Those are NCERT Official and NCERT Events. In the live chat box, you can raise your questions, you can be a part of this conversation, you can answer the questions that we are going to ask you. Apart from that, you're also watching us on our PM eVidya special ISL DTH channel number 31. And yes, that is an important channel because you get to watch each and every program and along with the sign language interpretation. So I am going to tell you that how you can enroll in this program, how you can register yourself on the DIKSHA course. All you have to do is download the DIKSHA app or operate it on the desktop mode. We are going to share a link with you on 31st of August 2026. A few more days from now and you will be getting the link. All you have to do is be a part of the link, these programs, attempt the assessment, and if you score 70% and more marks, you will be given a certificate. I'll be explaining the entire process towards the end of this program. So do watch this program and be a participant. Now let me please introduce you to our 2 sign language interpreters who are going to be with us throughout the program, and they'll be interpreting each and every word that we are going to discuss. We have with us Anushka and Neetu. A very warm welcome to both of them. You can see Anushka on your screens at this moment, and another interpreter, Neetu, would be joining very soon. So without further ado, now let me please introduce you to our guests for today. We have with us Professor Sharad Sinha. Ma'am, a very warm welcome.
Namaskar, Shubh Madhyan, and very happy to be with you.
The pleasure is all ours, ma'am. Ma'am is the head of the Department of Teacher Education, that is DTE NCERT New Delhi. And we also have another guest, and he is Dr. Ravi KM. Sir, a very warm welcome to you as well.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Happy to be here.
Sir is a professor, assistant professor from Lady Irwin College, New Delhi. So I welcome both of you once again in this conversation.
Namaste.
Before we begin with this conversation, this conversation, this entire series, this entire program is open for all. If you are a teacher, if you are a parent, do watch this program. No matter where you are placed at this moment, if you are teaching in a PM Shri school or a CM Shri school, if you are sitting at the hilltop, or you are in a remote village, you can watch this program and you can be a part of this program. Our theme today is building safe schools. Every child, every school. And before we begin with the conversation, I have a question to ask. And you can see the question on your screens now. So this is a poll question. You can write the answers in the live chat box. What is your image of the school for safe, healthy and inclusive school? That is the topic for today. If you think that you should be in a safe, healthy and inclusive school, what image comes to your mind? Is it the environment? Is it the hygiene factor? Is it the teachers? Is it the greenery? Or is it something else? Help us and type your answers. And to help us think this through, we have Dr. Sharad Sinha, like I have already introduced you to. So now let me ask ma'am. Ma'am, we are going to talk about this in detail. Would you like to share your experience with us?
Sure, Tanvi, thank you for the opportunity. And dear viewers, as you are typing the answer to the poll question just displayed on the screen, when you think of schools, which safe, healthy and inclusive schools, what comes to your mind? First of all, it comes a boundary wall, or something like a fire extinguisher, or maybe the closed gates, maybe the doors with the walls. I am sure these all ideas must be coming to your mind. Or maybe something like it would come to your mind, that is something else also would come to your mind. Have you ever felt that what exactly a safe school means? A place where child is not cyberbullied, a place where a child feels welcomed, and a place where a child feels that I would be heard or I belong to that place. That is something. Many of us imagine, for the sake of inclusion, we feel that a school with a ramp at the welcome gate is an inclusive school, or maybe building an inclusive toilet makes the school inclusive, but not necessarily it is the same. The inclusion, safety, they are the things which are to be thought about very deeply by our teachers. Imagine a room in which a child enters, and there is a child who is extremely bright. One child is struggling. One child is struggling to get noticed. The another child is running with a very fast pace of understanding. The teacher has to hear both of them. Both the voices have to be heard. Everything has to be spick and span in the place. You have to have a signage in the classroom or in the school. You have to have a signage in English and Hindi as well as the mother tongue of the child. The indicators for children with the tactile indicators for children with visual impairment. And when a teacher enters the class, it becomes all the more important that a child is not assigned a separate corner, because the child doesn't keep up pace with other children of the class. So that is something that makes them belong. You have to make them belong to the school. In the staff room, it's not only the infrastructure, or it's not merely the compliance, that we get a lot of funds under the Samagra Shiksha for making the school inclusive. Many centrally sponsored schemes like SSA, RMSA and now the Samagra, they are giving lot of funding for making the schools inclusive, making the infrastructure inclusive. But let me tell you, if you just imagine that when the child comes to the school, there is somebody to hold his or her hand, lead him or her to the classroom, put him into a place where he is comfortable. It has ramps, it has railings, and even from the classroom to any movement the child makes, the child is comfortable. The child feels he or she belongs to the school. That is something, this is not a fantasy. I would like all of you, all the teachers who are listening to this, imagine your school in terms of the safety and the inclusion, which we both the experts would be talking along with Tanvi throughout the sessions. Every corner of the school should make the child wanted, belong, and feel happily connected to the school. That is our image of a safe school.
All right, ma'am. So that is our image of the safe school. You have given us certain points, but we would also like to know the point of view of our viewers. So we'll talk about their answers in the chat box in a little while, but moving towards further in this conversation, ma'am, we would like to ask you, are there any dimensions of the school safety? If yes, what are they?
There are multiple dimensions of school safety, and as not felt, I would say I would just divide it into 5 parts to make it easier. One is the physical safety. We imagine we have a fire extinguisher. We imagine we have a CCTV to monitor. We have electrical systems in place. We have staircases supported by railings. We have laboratories. We have playgrounds, and we have school transport system that should be accessible and safe. There should be emergency exits in the school. You just remember, not only school, recently I am sure you must be remembering the stampede that happened in the coaching center because there was no proper exit. Then physical structure is very, very important. A safe school asks what happens if there is fire. What happens when there is a disaster? What happens when there is an earthquake, flood, or heat wave? Or whether every child, including a child with disability, can evacuate safely from the school. It's not only a question of the boundary wall, it's not only a question of a fire extinguisher. Let me ask you a question. How many of the viewers, we have seen fire extinguisher placed everywhere in the corridors, but just how many of you have bothered to check the expiry date? It has a chemical, and chemical has an expiry date. So God forbid if anything like that happens in an institution where you work, what would be the first action? Many schools, they conduct mock drills at times, but they have to be made a practice. Tanvi, I would like to give you an example. In Orissa, the cyclone, it so happened once, the entire school was in the mode earlier. They had practiced it multiple times that what if it happens. The children knew it. If something like this happened, what has to be done? The teachers knew it, that they do not have to create panic, and how to evacuate and take children to a safer place one by one. And when the cyclone struck, there were no casualties in the school. So this physical safety and these measures, I would say they are not one-time measures. They have to come into the school working. They have to be practiced again and again. They have to be rehearsed. Even if it doesn't happen, it is likely, even if there is one probability of happening, it must be practiced and rehearsed and should be known to every child. Then second comes is the emotional and the psychological safety, right? A school can have perfectly safe building, but still it can be an unsafe place, because if any child, he or she is humiliated, is afraid to speak or punished for a mistake rather than helped for being learning, the school is unsafe. A safe school is one where children can make mistakes without getting humiliated or without losing their dignity. The third comes, which is very important dimension, is the social safety. Children must feel safe with one another. There are a lot of cases of cyberbullying, there are a lot of cases of physical bullying happening in the schools which go unnoticed, because either the children are afraid, or children do not know whom to approach, or still afraid that even if we will try to speak something against this child or against bullying, what is happening, what would be the repercussions, how would the teacher take up the thing, how would the parents say that. There would be different attitudes, and just those apprehensions do not make them report bullying. So sometimes the most dangerous sentence in the school is simply, nobody wants to sit with a child. An inclusive school and a safe school, I would say, deliberately creates opportunities of friendship. We are all, our attention span has taken a toss after COVID. We are all lost in ourselves. Mobiles are allowed in the classroom. We don't bother to look at each other. Friendships are becoming rare and scarce. And I may ask you another question, that once, if you like to just think over, close your eyes and just think, that if you have some problem, name 5 people who would listen to your problem empathetically without being laughed at. Ask your children this question. We have lesser circle of friends these days. Then the fourth one comes, we have to make a school safer in these terms. So I would call a school safe where this type of social safety, they have a teacher to turn to, they have the faith that this teacher would listen to us and take action, and we would be at least in a safer place. Then comes the digital safety, and mind you, this is very, very important, because all of us have devices now, all of us are connected, all of us are constantly wired. Even the small child is having a device or an access to device many hours a day. And now with AI coming, a child's world is not confined to the 4 walls of the school only, or the room in which he or she inhabits at home. It goes far and beyond the physical space where the child is sitting and the digital space which the child has the access to. That is so big that nobody can imagine. And so now the safety includes cyberbullying, privacy, and responsible use of social media and AI. कुछ भी करो 2 मिनट में, like the FOMO is there. पहले ये होता था, हम कुछ काम करते थे तो हम उसे अपने पास रखते थे, जब तक वो काम समाप्त ना हो जाए तब तक उसकी पब्लिसिटी में विश्वास नहीं करते. लेकिन आजकल एक केले का भी डोनेशन कोई देने जाता है तो क्या करता है, आई एम डोनेटिंग हियर, और उसकी फ़ोटो फेसबुक पे डाल देता है. बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल आर हैविंग फियर ऑफ द यंग जनरेशन, fear of missing out. How many likes did even I do have. Sometimes after this video is played, I would look every evening how many likes I have got and how many views I have got. We all have the fear of missing out. So that FOMO is there. But लेकिन हम अपने आप को सोशल मीडिया स्पेस पे डालते हैं, तो बच्चों को ये बताने की बहुत ज़रूरत है. इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट डिजिटल इम्प्रिंट्स कैन नेवर बी इरेज्ड. आप उसे डिलीट भी कर दें तो कई बार मॉर्फिंग, कितनी सारी बातें सुनते हैं. चिल्ड्रन नो दिस and they should be made aware and they should be understanding what digital safety is like, so that they may not be duped, their photos may not be used badly, their data, their information should not be, and they should also know what the difference between information and misinformation. So this is very important. And the fifth one I would say is the safety from discrimination and inclusion. This is the deepest dimension, I would say. Ask who is visible in our classroom, who answers the question, because the teacher's eyes are only focused, mostly, not all, जो सबसे सामने होता है और जो सबसे पहले हैंड रेज करता है, because you get the answer to the question and you proceed further. you are in a hurry to complete the syllabus. What about the child who has bundles of questions in the mind and sitting in the corner of the room? The child also belongs to that class. A child who plays the sport but is not good in academics, not so good in academics. A child who can write better but cannot speak better. A child who sits in the front and the child who is left behind. बहुत सारे हम सब के मन में बहुत सारी बातें होती हैं और हम सब के फेवरेट स्टूडेंट्स भी होते हैं अक्सर, और कई बार वी आर ऑल ह्यूमन बीइंग्स एज टीचर्स, वी गेट बायस्ड। और तब क्या होता है, मैं एक एग्जाम्पल आपको भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा से बताना चाहती हूँ। एक भारतीय हमारे स्क्रिप्चर से, छंद योग उपनिषद से ये लिया गया है। सत्यकाम और जबाला, जबाला वॉज द मदर और सत्यकाम उनका बेटा था। और गुरुकुल में जैसे आप जानते हैं, ऑल ऑफ यू नो, एक परंपरा रही थी कि कुछ विशिष्ट वर्ग के ही लोग गुरुकुल में जाते थे, क्योंकि कार्यों के अनुसार शिक्षा का भी वर्गीकरण था। कार्यों के अनुसार क्षत्रिय जाते थे, ब्राह्मण जाते थे, वेदों को जो पढ़ते थे वो जाते थे, और विभिन्न वर्गों के लोग गुरुकुल, हर व्यक्ति के लिए एज नाउ education is accessible to all, the government policies are there that education must be given to all, and lot of money is being pumped. It was not like that at that time. When Satyakam asked his mother Jabala कि what is my lineage, क्योंकि जब हम स्कूल में जाते हैं तो नाम, माता का नाम, पिता का नाम, कहाँ से बिलोंग करते हो, बहुत सारे हम लोग भरते हैं कागज़ में डिटेल्स, ठीक है। और वो डिटेल्स के लिए सत्यकाम ने पूछा कि व्हाट इज माई लीनेज। द मदर ऑनेस्टली सेड, आई कैन नॉट टेल यू, आई डू नॉट नो योर लीनेज। नाउ दिस बॉय वॉज पजल्ड, बट स्टिल ही वेंट टू द गुरुकुल, जहाँ पर ऋषि गौतम के गुरुकुल में गया। एंड वेन ही वेंट टू ऋषि गौतम्स गुरुकुल, ऋषि गौतम आस्क्ड द सेम क्वेश्चन, बिकॉज स्कूल की एंट्री में तो जो चीज़ ज़रूरी है, कुछ डिटेल्स तो ज़रूरी होते हैं ना। ही आस्क्ड दैट क्वेश्चन, एंड वेन ही आस्क्ड दैट क्वेश्चन, डू यू नो व्हाट ही सेड? ऑनेस्टली सेड, मैं अपनी लीनिएज के बारे में नहीं जानता। अब आप बताइए कि एकलव्य की कहानी भी आपने सुनी होगी, गुरु गौतम का क्या रिस्पॉन्स रहा होगा? गुरु गौतम वेलकम्ड Satyakam with open arms. He said, a child who has such honesty in dealings can make a true Shishya and is able, he is eligible to be admitted in my Gurukul. So the message I would say that आपकी क्लास में कोई भी बच्चा आए, कैसा भी बच्चा आए, irrespective of caste, creed, color, language and any deficiency or any disability, learning disability, it has to be welcomed just like sage Gautam did to Satyakam. And that is exactly the concept of safety, the physical, emotional, social, digital and safety from discrimination and exclusion.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for citing such a wonderful example. And yes, Sage Gautam is an example that every teacher today should look forward to, should obey and follow the footsteps. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this information. And because we are talking about not just safe and inclusive schools, we are also talking about healthy schools today. So let me ask Ravi sir here. Sir, would you share some points regarding the key components of a healthy school? What makes a school healthy for children?
Yes. Thank you, Sharad ma'am, for that detailed elaborate introduction about safe school. To begin with, let me tell that the safety and health go hand in hand, and it overlaps to each other, because a school which is healthy is, of course, it should be a safe school. Let's understand that when we talk about healthy school, what comes into our mind as a first thought is that a school which has a clean toilet, which has drinking water facility, which provide nutritious food. Yes, of course, they are certainly important components of a healthy school, but it is important that there are much more to that physical environment in a healthy school. because the healthy school reflects upon on the inclusion of children with children in the classroom. It reflects on the respect which is granted to the children in the classroom. It prevents bullying in the classroom, which is a major issue which is today discussed in the classrooms in our education scenario, a problem menace, we can say that, a problem which is faced today in the school education. So a healthy school is of always include a physically healthy, emotionally secure, socially accepted, safe, included and able to learn classrooms. That is a healthy school. So what happens within the classroom also become important aspect of a healthy school, not just the physical environment. When we talk about components of a healthy school, WHO has identified 6 interconnected components of health promoting schools. In that the first component which is discussed in a school is that having healthy policies, health promoting policies in the school system. We know that schools have policies, like we have today. We are focusing a lot on the policies which are related to POCSO, management of POCSO related cases, and there are policies with reference to how to deal with emergencies, how to deal with when the school is inclusive and when there are children with disabilities taken admission into the classroom, how to deal with, how to ensure appropriate education is being provided. All these we have policies which are written, and well prepared policies are there, which some are centrally prepared, some are depends on the need of the classroom, like ma'am mentioned about emergency responses. When we have a natural disaster like earthquake, then how the evacuation need to be done. We have stipulated policies for that, which are some of the policies are locally within the classroom made, some of them are made at the state or the agency which control the schools in that level. So these policies are existing there. What is the biggest challenge is that people are not aware about these policies. Let's understand, let's try to see a scenario where a child is being regularly bullied, and she or he is reporting to the teacher, but teacher is not aware what to do. Many n number of times such situations arises when children face difficulty and they report to the teacher. Even if it is in the classroom transaction, as teacher will be able to immediately attend to it, but some situations some become difficult for the teacher, because teacher is also not aware many a time what to do. So we have policies, we have effective policies. What is most important is that make people know about those policies. Without awareness, without sensitization about the policies, existing policies, it's not just about teacher, it's about all the stakeholders in the school system, it's about parents, everyone should be, it's about the child itself should be aware that if I face a difficult situation, if I face a challenge within the school environment, then this is the method in which I can, this is the procedure in which I can report to my authorities, to my teacher, and teacher further how attend to that. For that specific set of policies are there, and the biggest lack is that people are not aware about it. So one of the important component, but there is a lot need to be done with reference to how to create awareness about these existing policies. Numerous situations arises like that when an emergency situation came up, but people are not aware about how to deal with that situation. Another component is that, as in the beginning itself, and ma'am also has touched upon multiple times, that having a healthy physical environment. Healthy physical environment, yes, we spoke about environment, a classroom which is well ventilated, an airy classroom, a classroom with proper lighting, a classroom, a toilet facility, drinking water facility, all these become part of physical environment. But today we should remember that today our schools are inclusive. We are welcoming children with disabilities into our school system, and if the school doesn't provide appropriate access to that environment, if there is a child with a disability in the class who has taken admission, who may be having a locomotor disability, who is a wheelchair bound child, the classroom is in the first floor, and the school do not have enough accessibility, means in terms of ramp, in terms of lifts, then even if the institution had the school has beautiful physical infrastructure, the the school cannot be considered as a healthy one, because a healthy school should provide access to everyone, including children with disability. Another component, very important component, that is supportive social and emotional environment. Some of the aspects of those social and emotional environment has been touched upon. One thing, this is that cognitive, that affective component of our education system, which need to be taken care. And the one challenge which is faced in the classroom is that teachers fail to recognize many times. We as a teachers, I am also a teacher, we fail to recognize many a time the child is going through a difficult situation, child is facing a difficulty. So it is very important that teachers are trained to identify the signs children exhibit during the period of challenge, like getting a loaf. A child who is active in the class, who used to be active in the classroom, is not taking interest in the studies from maybe a few weeks or few days, or the child want to stay alone instead of staying along with his or her peers. So these signs, like talking less in the classroom, these things need to be identified, and teacher need to deal with such situations empathetically, and also, if required, appropriate referrals need to be made. Appropriate referral in the form of, maybe within the school system, एक counselor होंगे. We have a counselor, and counselor can take care of the emotional needs of the child if appropriately referred to her, him or her. Then so counselor's role also become very important in terms of taking care of the emotional aspect. The second aspect with reference to the social and emotional environment is that it is also important to remember that teacher is also a human being, and teacher also may require emotional support at multiple times. If a teacher is not emotionally supported, emotionally stable, then that teacher may fail to identify the emotional disturbances or difficulties in the child. So it becomes very important. School as a community, all the members in that community need to be appropriately trained and appropriately addressed with their emotional aspects. Then only a healthy school can be established. And another aspect is that, with reference to healthy school, is health education and life skill education. Many time we have seen that in our schools, हमारे schools में ऐसा situations काफ़ी बार आते हैं जब assembly के दौरान बच्चे बेहोश होते हैं, faint होते हैं काफ़ी बार, या कोई फिजिकल एक्टिविटी के बाद बच्चे फेंट होता है, या कोई इंक्लूसिव स्कूल जहाँ पे चिल्ड्रन विद डिसेबिलिटीज़ हैं. इन दैट केस मेनी टाइम काफ़ी चिल्ड्रन विद डिसेबिलिटीज़ को एपिलेप्सी या फिट्स अटैक होते हैं, तो दे में फॉल डाउन. तो पीपल आर अवेयर मेनी ए टाइम कि फेंट होता है, या काफ़ी देर धूप में खेलने की वजह से फेंट हो सकते हैं, या न्यूट्रिशियस फूड नहीं मिलने से फेंट हो सकते हैं, फिट्स आया तो पर्सन गिर सकते हैं, ऐसा हो सकते हैं. लेकिन it is a normal scene in our classrooms, a normal scene in our school, that children are surrounded to them, children are not aware क्या करना चाहिए, ऐसे सिचुएशन में क्या करना चाहिए. तो हेल्थ एजुकेशन खाली एक पेपर में या एक क्लासरूम बेस्ड एजुकेशन नहीं रहना चाहिए. बच्चों को प्रैक्टिकल एस्पेक्ट्स या प्रैक्टिकल कंपोनेंट्स को डील करने के लिए, ऐसे सिचुएशन को प्रैक्टिकली कैसे डील करना चाहिए, इसका एक प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपोजर्स प्रोवाइड करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. Another component which WHO has identified is that involvement of family, community and collaboration among them. Yes, we as teachers हमें पता है कि school is a community institution. School is a community institution. So it should survive. It should active involvement of family members, active involvement of other members in the neighboring community can make education more meaningful, can make education the higher objectives, the major aim of the education can be achieved effectively. So it become very important that the involvement of parents on to the day-to-day activities in the school. Like, let's see, for an example, many a time we have हम अपने classroom में देखते हैं कि बच्चे आते हैं जो लेट आते हैं, कंसिस्टेंटली लेट आते हैं क्लासरूम्स में, काफ़ी तो ब्रेकफास्ट भी स्किप करके आते हैं, और इवन आफ्टर हम अपने क्लासरूम्स के रूल्स को स्ट्रिक्टली इम्प्लीमेंट करने के बावजूद भी, हम अपने क्लासरूम एक्टिविटीज़ को रेगुलरली उनको द पॉलिसीज़ को क्लियरली स्टेट करने के बावजूद भी many a time children fail to report on time. So in such situation it is very important that we talk to parents, we interact with the family and try to find out what are the reason why the child is consistently getting late. The involvement of family become very important. Many a time, see, जैसे ma'am has spoken about digital wellness, mobile phone has disturbed our sleep pattern in general, है ना? It's not just of adults, it's about adolescents also, it's about children also. It disturbs our sleep pattern. Many a time ऐसा हो सकता है बच्चा late आ रहा है classroom में, the reason could be the child is not getting enough sleep. Maybe child is sleeping very late. Parents are not aware about it. Many a time it could be the reason. Mobile phone, बच्चा mobile देखते रह रहे हैं और उसी की वजह से late नींद, she or he is sleeping late. That could be one of the reasons. So when we work in close relation with parents, when we work in close relation with family, तभी हमें ये चीज़ क्लियर होगा कि what could be the reason. So this is just an example. ऐसा n number of situations आएंगे जहाँ पे आपको कम्युनिटी की मदद की ज़रूरत पड़ सकता है. मे बी नियर बाई कम्युनिटी में हेल्थ प्रोफेशनल्स होंगे जिनके सर्विसेज आप ले सकते हैं टू प्रमोट, टू कंडक्ट स्क्रीनिंग कैंप्स. There may be people who are educated in the nearby community who can be a support in the classrooms to facilitate the education where there is limitations. And see, our country has a wide spectrum. Like urban area has a different setup, and when it comes to rural area, there is limitation with reference to resources. So these community resources can be utilized to ensure we achieve the objectives of the major objective of education. The last component which WHO state is that access to health services. Many a time, see, many of the schools have medical facility and numerous schools do not have that facility. Teachers are trained like through the national initiatives. Teachers are trained to identify difficulties children face in the classroom. Like for an example, NCERT's Precious is one such initiative where children with disabilities, screening of children with disabilities can be done by a teacher. So many a time what happens, screening is done, but follow-up of that, continuity of that effort is not done. What to be done? If screening is done, then it need to be referred. If the condition require referral of services of professionals, other professionals, then the child need to be referred to a setup where such services are available. So the continuity of services is missing many a time in our schools. So it is very important. मुझे पता चला बच्चे को देखने में डिफ़िकल्टी है, तो मैं उस नॉलेज से खाली बैठे ना रहे, या मैं उस बच्चे को खाली सामने फर्स्ट बेंच में बिठाने से मेरा काम पूरा नहीं होता. मुझे उसको ये रेफ़र करना चाहिए, फर्दर एक हॉस्पिटल में रेफ़र करना चाहिए, या उस हिसाब से उसके लिए एक्सपेक्ट्स के थ्रू वो उसको विजन करेक्शन हो सकते हैं, या ऑल्टरनेटिव मोड्स की ज़रूरत है, या लार्ज प्रिंट की ज़रूरत है. ये फर्दर उसका जो द complete process of identification of the challenges and how education can be facilitated based on that knowledge, वो continuity maintain रखना बहुत ज़रूरी है. वो काफ़ी बार हमारे classrooms में missing है.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, sir. Like you said, safety and health goes hand in hand, and you have given us multiple points on what schools can do to make their environment, to make the entire atmosphere of the school healthy. Moving further in this conversation, there are certain laws and policy on safe and inclusive schools as well. So let's just discuss them a little bit. Sharad ma'am, I would request you to answer that, please.
Thank you, Tanvi. The laws and policies are there and being making the school atmosphere safe and inclusive. This is not left to the individual goodwill also, because the right to children to free right of children to free and compulsory education act 2009 talks that gives every child from 6 to 14 years a legal right to go to the school. And the section 17, if all of you remember and try to look at it once again, prohibits any physical punishment or a mental harassment to the child, making psychological safety a very legal guarantee. This act also sets the minimum infrastructure that supports the physical safety in the school, and through including a safe boundary wall, adequate drinking water, what Dr. Rajesh had also talked about. Then another act, the Right to Persons with Disability Act, that also talks about the right based framework that every school has to become barrier free, and it has to have ramps and toilets, its teaching material should be, and the attitude should be inclusive, and the attitude of the staff placing clear duty on the institution to provide safe and accessible environment for every child with a disability and other children also. The National Education Policy places equity as well as inclusion at the heart of education. It also treats safe, secure and healthy environment as non-negotiable foundation of learning. I am sure you must have read the policy and read this also, and it specifically calls for assistive devices, appropriate technology, accessible learning material such as print or braille, keeping aside attention to safety and security for the children with disabilities. The School Safety and Security Guidelines 2021 take a whole school approach covering physical, health, emotional, psychosocial, cognitive and disaster related and even the transport safety into cognizance, along with clear stakeholder responsibility and a zero tolerance towards negligence at any concerning child safety at any point of the child's journey to the school or back. And then comes the accessibility code. I am just mentioning a few of them, which was notified in 2024, gives us contemporary a practical framework for barrier free designs, the ramp, the rails, the lifts and adapted toilets, braille signage, auditory signals, tactile flooring, sitting alongside with broader rights framework of the PWD framework. So, this is something which our legal frameworks already have, and I am sure every teacher should know this.
Wonderful, ma'am. So, this is a wonderful and a very helpful summary, especially for all the teachers who are watching this program. And can we say that this means practically on any Monday morning in an ordinary classroom?
Yes. We can imagine, because something, whenever we talk about all these things, it seems as a Herculean, एक भगीरथी प्रयास लगता है, ये सब कैसे होगा और हम सब कैसे करेंगे. So for that again I will say शने पंथा, शने कंथा, शने पर्वत मस्तके और शनेर विद्या, शनेर वित्तम, पंचेतानी शने शने. All these 5 things, whatever you are doing, they come slowly. It has to come into your behavior, and this has to be rehearsed again and again, because I just give you an example, Tanvi, and our viewers also, because what happened in Norway, there was a lot of bullying happening and 3 children lost lives to bullying. No, following that they committed suicide. This was not noticed, but the government took a cognizance of it. The entire school machinery set into action. There were signages, it was called as Always Bullying Prevention Program. You could Google it, you will find the details, and it restructured how the schools operated. The teachers, the community, the parents and everyone in the school ecosystem was involved, and wherever this Always Bully program took place, there was a decline up to 1/3 in the cases of bullying. So that has to be done continuously. It's not by a mere notice or mere a policy directive that you have to comply. It has to be taken into everyday behavior. And then first year on the evaluation, it was a 3-year project. In the first year it fell down, and third year it was there was a considerable downfall. So if this has to be, all these measures have to be rehearsed, revised, told to all the teachers, told to all the students again and again, and of course with meaningful efforts to be made towards complying them.
Absolutely. So, ma'am, the laws and policies should not just be made, but they have to make sure, everyone has to make sure that they are implementing, and everyone is practicing them. Okay. So, when we are talking about laws and policies, we cannot skip the initiatives of government. So, let me ask sir, what are the various government initiatives that are supporting the development of healthy schools? And I would request you to make your answer a little brief, because we are left with not much time.
Sure. One of the major initiative of Government of India which promotes school health activities, that is Ayushman Bharat related act. Ayushman Bharat School Health and Wellness Program, under which there are health ambassadors identified in each school, one male and one female teacher, who conducts orientation, 1 hour orientation, weekly 1 hour training for children with reference to health. Then we have National Deworming Day, biannually National Deworming Day. Then we have training programs to facilitate or promote structured menstrual hygiene management. Then we all familiar with, and during this series multiple time it must have been already discussed about PM Poshan program, midday meal program, which we have, and then we have Anemia Mukt Bharat Abhiyan, which is a central government initiative to through which weekly iron and folic acid medications are being provided to children. Then we have Rashtriya Bal Swasthya Karyakram, RBSK, which is with specific focus to the group which is of smaller age, early detection and intervention for better child health. It addressed to 4 Ds, especially diseases, defects at birth, developmental delays and deficiencies. The main objective is that to identify, screen and identify at the earliest and provide early intervention to the children, so that the developmental delay, the gap can be reduced. In addition to that, as ma'am spoke about, we have NEP provisions. New National Education Policy 2020 has specific policies with reference to having counselors in school, social worker support, and community participation to facilitate community participation. And also we have mandatory basic health, hygiene and emergency first aid education integrated into the curriculum. So there are numerous efforts which is being done. Then another one is RK Rashtriya Kishore Swasthya Karyakram. There are numerous other programs which are focused on health of children in the school education. Yeah.
Wonderful. So, government is not behind, and government is fully aware, and they are working day out, day in to make the schools healthy and safe and inclusive as well. So, ma'am, here when government is taking all the initiatives, there are parents who are worried about their child's safety and inclusivity. There are teachers and all the other stakeholders, including parents, who would also like to contribute. So what all can they do? What is their role in making the school inclusive and safe?
See, it is very important, and thank you for asking this question, because every policy document, every ramp, every assistive device, every smart board still depends upon the person that is standing in the middle of the classroom, and that is you. If the teacher doesn't have the attitude, consider the same children, same teacher facing a child saying that you cannot do it, the other teacher saying let us try to do it. Even that attitude is important, and our thinking, the teacher's thinking has to be changed. Then as you asked the question about the support of families, principal, community and safety partners, it is not only the responsibility of the government or the school management committee or the school management to provide safety. It is equal responsibility, because you know your child, see there are multiple examples, I would say, rather than elaborating upon them. We have our PMC schools. In PMC schools we have a SQAF school, and of course they have built-in safety audits, barrier-free infrastructure and inclusive education norms. Kendriya Vidyalayas, they have standardized safety protocols, fire drills, regular mock fire drills, POCSO compliance committees, CCTV norms. Then there are our own Eklavya model residential schools for tribal children. They are relevant to northeastern, they are in the northeastern state, in the exclusively isolated areas. Then safety and inclusion there intersect with cultural and linguistic accommodation also. Parents should not always be called to the school when there is a problem. Parents should be the children should themselves bring the parents, bring into the cognizance the problems they are facing, in case any humiliation they are facing, and they must be brought to the authorities during the time. There is a place in the school where a child feels safe, and there is a number to when we call, the number should be known to the parents in case of any need, in case of any disaster, in case of there is any safety rule violation. So the parent should know, the teacher should know, it should be on the walls of the school. Parents should be partners, and community should also time to time, the school management committee, the village management committee and the school, at the school complexes, there should be provisions to discuss these issues, not to be just brush off like a case. या ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए जैसे जब नॉर्वे में एक डिज़ास्टर हुआ और उसके बाद में everybody set the things right. So I would always say the prevention is better than cure, and for prevention it is very important and imperative that all the parents, teachers and students know what a safe school means and what they are entitled to get for safety and a healthy environment for learning.
Wonderful, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. This information was for all the stakeholders who can actually contribute in making the school safe and inclusive, and there are the same stakeholders who can contribute towards making the school healthy. Now I would like sir to define the roles of these stakeholders, including teachers and parents.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Sharad ma'am has already briefed about the roles of different stakeholders in the school system. To continue with that, especially with specific focus to safe and healthy schools, what is required is a whole school approach. As it is mentioned here, it's not just the responsibility of government, it's not just the responsibility of the administrator of the school, the principal. It's the responsibility of each and everyone. Whether it is to implement inclusive education, whether it is to implement the practices of health promoting schools, whether it is to make school as a safe environment, it is the responsibility of each stakeholders in the school system. Let's try to understand it through an example. Like a student is teased, excluded and feels unsafe. A case of bullying, from there we try to understand the role everyone has to play, and if anyone in the link do not play their role, then how it will affect the result. First of all, to start with, the school should have an established policies with reference to if a child is going through bullying, then what will happen if someone bullies some child, and if a child is under threat, how that child will be protected, what type of support that child will be receiving with reference to that, and the children who are involved in bullying, what actions can be taken, administrative action can be taken with reference to that. A clear policy hona chahiye school ka, that is established by the principal. The second important person is the teacher. Teacher has to notice, has to identify the challenge the child is facing. Like we had discussed, teacher should be able to identify the signs that child is withdrawing from the environment, that child is facing a difficulty. Then if the teacher try to deal with that student, try to understand the child empathetically and support, instead of just scolding and ignoring the child, understand the child empathetically, and if required the child support of professional support also need to be sought after. Like within the school system, school counselors हैं जो बच्चे को इमोशनल सपोर्ट की ज़रूरत है, will the teacher can refer the child to counselor. A counselor's responsibility is not just when emergency arises, it's also to train the children how to cope up with the situations if it come, and how to report, how to communicate to people, how if a child is facing a difficulty. Yes, the larger responsibility is there for a counselor. If a child is coming with a child is withdrawing from the classroom, teacher has referred, counselor provide the emotional support. Then following to that, there are other school staff in the school system. There are non-teaching staff, there are other supportive staff in the school system. They need to be vigilant to ensure that the child is safe when during recess time, during game period, whenever the child is out of the classroom, that the other staff members in the school system should be monitoring the child and ensure that the child feels safe within that environment. Then following to that, not only in the school, outside the school, immediate neighborhood, we may take help of PTA, the parents who are actively involved in the school functioning, school management committees, to ensure that the outside environment is immediate neighborhood environment of the school is also safe for that child. Another most important, and many a time we misses, that is students, the peers within the classroom. Most of the time, with reference to all these discussions we had, we look at students as beneficiaries. No, students can also be a part of it. They can also play a major role in ensuring the success of these programs, success of all those policies which are being implemented in the classroom. How it can be done? We can train them to be alert, train them to monitor the child who is facing this bullying from maybe a senior child or any other child, and ensure that the teachers get appropriate information. Another thing is that the child is feeling safe when he or she is with the peers. Then another is that role of parents, which we have already discussed, and other policies which are established in the school. All these has to work together, then only the safety can be healthy school environment can be ensured. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for discussing the role of teachers and each and every stakeholder in contributing to the healthy school. Now we have come towards the end of our program, but let me ask Sharad ma'am the last question. Ma'am, what are the key takeaways of this session?
Key takeaways for the teachers to understand is that I am just giving 5, I have put in a 7-point framework also, and 5 pointers also, just how to make your school more safe and inclusive. That is, just find out today whether every teacher in your school actually knows a number to call a child safe whenever a child is unsafe, whom to call, and then build one recurring safety habit in your school calendar this term, only one, not more. And yes, a drill, put it in a timetable, a drill or check or a screening. Before a next lesson, ask who in the room might feel that they do not belong the way you are about to teach them. Make a small adjustment. Treat your school management committees and child protection committee as genuine working bodies and not a formalities. And remember that law already stands by you, the RT Act, the RPWD Act, the safety guidelines, the NEP 2020 for physical, psychological and as a right of the child safety. I just give a blueprint of the practice of the 7A framework, that comes to access, make it accessible, acceptance, attention to the child, adaptation according to the needs of the child, agency, becoming facilitating the child, making yourself accountable for the child, aspiring, making that child feel that yes, he or she is capable, making that child belong to the school, making that child feel that yes, I am a part of the school, and make learning truly happy. Because as the motto says, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhin, for holistic development and learning, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhin, Sarve Santu Niramaya. Like, you cannot leave certain unhappy children in the classroom, unsafe children in the classroom, and go ahead. It's simply not possible for all of us.
So this was this is the point where we are concluding this entire program. Thank you so much, Sharad sir. Thank you so much, Ravi sir and Sharad ma'am, for being with us throughout the program and for letting us know how one can add to make the school safe, inclusive and healthy. Thank you so much once again for being a part of this wonderful conversation.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to each and every viewer for being a part of this program. I really hope that you enjoyed this conversation. You have taken out points which you think are important, and you are going to watch this program again. You are even going to spread this information to other colleagues of yours and other parents whom you know, so that we can together make the environment, the school environment, safe, healthy and inclusive. We have come towards the end of our series here, where we were talking about promoting healthy lives, preventing deficiencies, diseases and developmental delays. So with this we have come towards the end, like I said, and you can see the topic on our screens. This is what we discussed today: safety and health, equitable and inclusive schools. Now let me please quickly show you the website where you can operate it. All you have to do is open your browser and type DIKSHA on it. Once you type DIKSHA on it, the front page will open just like this here. Let me just say this again. All you have to do is write CIET on your screens. Once you do, this is the home page. You can see the home bar options. Click on activities. The middle option is live inclusive classroom. Once you do, another page will open. Scroll it down, and this is about another program of ours, which is teaching learning interventions for inclusive classroom. And here comes the ongoing activity, which is our 5-day 5-hour series. Please click on it. Once you do, this is entire detail on this series of ours, which started on 17th of August. Why are we doing this? What are its objectives? Who all can participate? What are the themes that we discussed, and who were the participants from day 1 to day 5? You can watch these programs on these platforms. Now, how to get a certificate is the important part. You have to access DIKSHA. Either you can download the app or you can access it through the website. Register yourself and complete your profile. Now access the course. The course link will be given to you on 31st of August. You have to open your DIKSHA course app, click on the courses tab on the bottom right corner, and then enroll yourself. Complete the course, watch all the 5 modules, and then take the final step, which is the assessment part. If you score more than 70% and above, you will be eligible for the certificate, and you can easily download the certificate from your DIKSHA profile. So with this, I really hope all the best to all of you, and you will be attempting this course, you will be watching all these programs. So thank you so much once again, and now let me please thank our sign language interpreters as well. Thank you Neetu, and thank you Anushka for being a part of this program. All the best to all the students, and to all the parents and to all the teachers. Thank you for being a part of this program. I really hope that there is something concrete that you can act upon tomorrow morning after watching these programs. Namaskar, I am Tanvi Khurana. I'll take a leave of you now. Jai Hind.